One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to Zanis News. I'm your presenter, Mwangala Kapandula. We take you through the headlines. Road construction companies to recover funds from toll fees. Kafue Sugar to start producing power using bagasse. Ikelenyi farmers assured of speedy distribution of farm inputs. 2 football clubs receive football kits. The news in detail. Minister of Finance and National Planning, Stumbeko Msokotwane, says construction companies engaged to construct roads under the Public-Private Partnership (PPP) will recover their money through collection of toll fees. Dr. Msokotwane has also disclosed that government will, in the next 21 days, sign a contract for the Ndola-Lusaka dual carriage, which will be done under the PPP arrangement. Frank Shingambu has the details.
The 2023 Budget Symposium, organized by the Ndola District Chamber of Commerce and Industry. During this platform last night, members of the chamber presented to Finance Minister Stumbeko Msokotwane some of the issues they feel need his attention in the 2023 national budget.
Is the high cost of doing business. The startups, Honorable Minister, are too high. You need to look at the SMEs because they are the future of the country.
We recommend that you grant tax incentives to financial institutions that lower interest rates. Make withholding tax a final tax on consultancy services and consider a reduced rate and threshold for SMEs.
Dr. Msokotwane assured the business community most of the pronouncements in the budget are aimed at nothing but growing the economy that has been stagnant.
We have receptive ears. We are ready to listen to you, and whatever is practical, we will do it, provided you convince us.
On key infrastructure, the private sector is being engaged through the Public-Private Partnership (PPP) model.
The key infrastructure, more specifically, is something that is relevant to us in Ndola. The Lusaka Ndola dual carriageway, that is going to be done by PPP. We are not just talking. Last week, we signed the PPP road from Chingola to Kasumbalesa. Government is not going to spend even 1 cent. Private money is going to do that. Of course, they will recover the money through the toll fees, but we are already paying toll fees anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. So that is done. They are about to start, except that the rain season will delay them a bit, but those of you who have been that side, you've seen the equipment already mobilized. The next one, hopefully within the next 2-3 weeks, that we should sign off, is the Lusaka Ndola dual carriageway. Ndola to Mfulira. That is also coming.
Dr. Msokotwane also touched on mining matters, particularly Mopani and Konkola copper mines, as well as other key economic policies.
We are not sleeping. We are burning candles so that Mopani comes back to life, KCM comes back to life, and we are pushing very, very hard for that.
Frank Chingambu reporting from Ndola. Zanis News.
In Lusaka Province, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, says government is working around the clock to ensure that the KCM and Mopani copper mines problems are resolved. Mr. Kabuswe has assured the people on the copper belt that the matter pertaining to the 2 mines will be resolved in the quickest possible time. Addressing a media briefing in Lusaka today, the minister said discussions with the necessary stakeholders to find an amicable solution are already underway. He said government is eager to see the 2 mines contribute towards the 3 million metric tons of copper target that has been set for the next decade. Mopani copper mine is currently on care and maintenance, while KCM is in liquidation. President Hakainde Hichilema had previously pledged that his government will resolve the impasse regarding the 2 mines.
So I want to assure our people on the copper belt that government is eager to resolve the impasse and get the mine running in good order. And I wish to reassure all the stakeholders that government, along with all parties involved, liquidator, KCM management, suppliers and contractors associations, everybody involved. We want to assure you that government has ensured that the salaries for workers continue to be paid and suppliers are serviced according, with the payment plans aligned to the current company's cash inflows. Ladies and gentlemen and members of the press, I want to tell you that resolving the challenges at the two mines in the shortest period possible remains key priority for the New Dawn government.
Still in Lusaka province, a joint security operation in Luangwa district has managed to intercept 26 suspected illegal immigrants believed to have come from Ethiopia. The suspected prohibited immigrants who were en route to South Africa were intercepted at Luangwa Bridge and other police checkpoints. More in this report by Lista Ndumba.
Luangwa District Commissioner Luke Chkan has commended the Army and the District Joint Operation Committee in the district for scaling up security measures in the area.
I would like to commend our security forces for nabbing the illegal immigrants that are using our district as a transit point. This is the way it's supposed to be. And at this moment in time, I would also want to caution the locals who are using their own transport to aid and abet this crime. This is not the way it's supposed to be. Our district is porous, but you can see what they've done. 26 have been nabbed, although I hear that 2 have run away. But I think very soon these people will be arrested, will be nabbed. And I think that our locals should not be abetting.
One of the suspected prohibited immigrants said they were going to South Africa for employment.
From Ethiopia, that's from container.
What transport did you use?
Container.
Container?
Yes.
From Ethiopia, in routing where? Where were you going?
South Africa.
For what?
For job.
Who is your boss in South Africa?
I don't know name.
Lista Ndumba, Luangwa District.
In Northwestern Province, over 2,000 vulnerable households in Mwinilunga District have received nutritional support under the 1,000 Most Critical Days pilot program. District Commissioner Harrison Kamuna says over 1.3 million has been released to pay off beneficiaries in Mundanyama and Kawanda wards. Details in this report by Amos Kawisha.
It is a pilot program aimed at improving household nutrition among vulnerable pregnant women and children below 2 years. The 1,000 Most Critical Days program will pay 155 and 550 kwacha bi-monthly nutrition support to social cash transfer and non-social cash transfer beneficiaries, respectively. Mwinilunga District Commissioner Harrison Kamuna flags off the payment exercise.
Mushikami chachiwahi muila ndila nyana tumiruki nimfumo mwinga kakapu kakofi mwinga dakuchochena china nene yuhemba kutukasumbi.
District Assistant Programs Officer under the Ministry of Community Development gives details about the program.
These beneficiaries are receiving 550 for those households that are not on social cash transfer. And the households that are on social cash transfer are actually receiving 150. It's a top-up to the current social cash transfer amount that they receive every bi-month.
Beneficiaries are grateful to government for the support.
Nawa tukwashi kumuronga huishi chipiru mudinyana. Twadinga na kuyanda na nyana. Ni chipiru na wacha adinga ko muna kutukwasha mwani mara okwenda tuzatenga ma business akuira tukwashirenga munyane tunisaka yetu tunasakiriru.
The program is being piloted in Chipata Eastern, Kalabo Western, Pika, Muchinga and Mwinlunga Northwestern provinces. I'm Oscar Wesh reporting for Zanis in Mwinlunga District, Northwestern Province.
Still in Northwestern Province, Acting Ikalengi District Commissioner Charlton Mukela has urged farmers to remain calm as government expedites the distribution of farming inputs. Mr. Mukela disclosed that the district has started receiving the allocated farming inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP. More in the following report by Victor Mwila.
Trucks are rolling in, an assurance that farmers will soon start receiving farming inputs for the 2022 to 2023 farming season in Ikelenge district in Northwestern Province. This is a border town lying about 340 kilometers west of Solwezi, the provincial center. The local administration has called on farmers in the area not to panic about the inputs.
We want to assure our farmers in the district that the fertilizer is already in the district, and hence they need to do other preparations, but as for the fertilizer, it's already in the district. This comprises of 6,600 for top dressing and 6,600 for basal dressing, which translates into benefiting 2,200 farmers in general. And this is a good sign because last year we had 2,000 and there's an increment of 200 farmers.
The District Agriculture Office has assured farmers of smooth distribution of inputs.
The extension officers, we've prepared them to ensure that they do the right thing. Yeah, because we don't want cases of malpractice concerning the distribution of inputs in our district. So we are working hand in hand with security wings, but our officers are aware of that, and as a district, we are hoping that we will do the right thing in ensuring that the right farmers get the inputs.
The delivery of the fertilizer is settling to the farmers here.
I would like to thank the government of the day that the inputs are now in. The farmers, we are happy, and we are going to benefit all of us.
Victor Mwila for Zanis in Ikelenge, Northwestern Province.
Copperbelt Province Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo has called on the Ministry of Transport and Logistics to expedite the process of compensating farmers who were displaced during the construction of Simon Mwansaka-Pwepwe International Airport in Ndola.
And also want to advise your board and the corporation and the Ministry of Transport and Logistics to take a lead in dealing with challenges of compensation and the settlement of the displaced farmers who paved way for the construction of the Simon Mwansaka International Airport.
The upgrading of the access road from the airport to, of course, the made dual carriageway. And pretty much that, of course, has brought a lot of excitement. And we also want to now look at other issues that could be pending so that we bring the project to 100% completion. In office, because we are stakeholders insofar as the operations of the airport is concerned. I have in mind, of course, the local authorities, and what I have again in mind are issues of land allocation, because in the past we have been informed that there have been issues pertaining to land allocation in the land which belongs to the airport.
The integration of children into families is critical for productive growth. Save Our Souls SOS National Director Adrian Nkandela says the welfare of children must be protected and treated with a collective approach. More in the following report.
Looking after children is the core mandate of the SOS Children's Villages in Zambia. SOS Children's Villages National Director Adrian Nkandela says looking after children calls for concerted efforts from various stakeholders.
It's not child's play. Playing with children is not child's play. Running programs for children is not child's play. And that's the reason why today we have recognized the power of a collective muscle by inviting you, our partners. Because doing the work that we're doing is not child's play. It requires a collective muscle, it requires collective thinking, it requires knowledge, it requires diverse expertise, it requires resources, it requires the financial sector, the energy sector, and everybody around. It's economics, it's everything. It's not child's play. And that's the reason why we have invited you here to sit with us to discuss these nuances around looking after children.
And SOS Child Safeguarding Programs Advisor Rebecca Chipoya calls for protection of children.
Our child protection work hinges on 4 pillars. That is awareness, creating awareness, because we know that when people know what abuse is and what impact it has on the lives of the children, then we will all work together to ensure that no child is abused. So we ensure that the children themselves understand abuse, they are given skills on how to protect themselves, and also given easy and accessible mechanisms on how to report if they are abused in any way within the programs or outside the programs.
Elijah Tembo is one of the beneficiaries of SOS Villages and shares his story.
SOS has been a home. They've been my mother, my father, and then I can proudly stand firm and say I can stand on my own in society today. And then to the NGOs and other people out there, I would say chip in, see what institutions that are offering care to children are doing, see how they can help our brothers and sisters.
Meanwhile, World Family Organization Vice President Judith Mwila also expressed her views on the welfare of children.
And I want to appeal to everyone out there, the Zambians, the corporate world, everyone in their own ability. We need to support programs to protect and find a lasting solution to children who are distressed.
For Zanis in Lusaka, I am Sunday Wari.
In health news, government says it will continue to prioritize the delivery of quality healthcare services in various health institutions. Minister of Health Silva Masevo says skilled personnel in the sector is critical to the delivery of the universal health coverage. Here's a report.
To sustain quality healthcare services, government has put in place interventions such as the ongoing recruitment of health staff in various public health facilities. However, the constant public demand for healthcare services, exacerbated by growing population, has placed a constant demand for more health staff. Therefore, in complementing government efforts to address staffing levels in public health facilities, Monza School of Nursing and Midwifery, a health training institution operated by the Catholic Church in partnership with government, has offloaded over 30 health staff at its 30th graduation ceremony.
We have gathered here to celebrate the hard work of these 27 midwives and 9 registered nurses. I say with pride, guest of honor, that you are receiving fully equipped nurses into the health fraternity.
And government has pledged to ensure the recruitment of health staff in public health facilities and the delivery of healthcare services is sustained.
Of Health recognizes that skilled personnel in the health sector is critical to the delivery of quality health services. The health workforce, if it's to contribute greatly to the universal health coverage, it means we must continue on this path of producing quality graduates. Government is equally committed to ensure that staffing needs within our health facilities are improved.
Bishop Raphael Mwempa of Monza Diocese wants CDF bursaries extended to students in health training institutions.
There are so many young men and women who want to learn
but then they cannot afford tertiary education. I would propose and request that the CDF bursaries be extended to institutions such as this one. Because what we understand at the moment is that it is only catering for the colleges that offer skills training. But even to institutions like this one, I think it would be good that a certain percentage is given for bursaries.
Liseni Muche, Zanis, in Monze District, Southern Province.
Now, over 500 students from 4 skills training institutions run by the Ndola City Council have graduated. Ndola Mayor Jones Kaliati urged the graduates to form cooperatives and apply for funds under the Constituency Development Funds CDF during a joint graduation ceremony. More in this report.
The Ndola City Council has held its 8th joint graduation ceremony for Mushili, Chifubu, Kabushi and Mine Masala Skills Training Centers. For the past 3 years, the training centers were not able to hold their graduation ceremonies due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, over 500 graduates from 2019 to date have graduated from the 4 named centers.
Importantly is to go telling people that that is a crop of people who did it even in very, very difficult circumstances. This graduation is the beginning of many things to come. Open your minds, dear graduates. And I say open your minds and put into practice the innovation, the skills that you have learned.
The graduates have been encouraged to use the skills acquired to earn an income even without being employed.
I want to encourage you that today you are graduating, that once you graduate, whatever knowledge you have gotten from the school, I think don't pack it in your suitcase, make use of it.
The graduates are ready to apply their acquired skills for the benefit of both themselves and society.
Bakutupera ku opportunity yako bachi twakwata ku shughuli yako bachi twasambira ku finga twakwa mu life feeling business. I can't go to get employed but kutina ivombera.
The 4 centers are run and funded by the Ndola City Council, whose courses are affiliated to the Technical Education Vocational and Entrepreneurship Authority TEVETA. Nelly Bota reporting for Zanis in Ndola.
We move to Western Province. Chief Mwene Mundu of the Mbunda people of Kalabo District has commended government for making strides in implementing policies that seek to uplift the plight of the vulnerable in society. The chief noted that for the past 1 year, government has demonstrated interest in changing the economy. Tine Mbewe has the rest of the story.
The annual traditional ceremony of the Mbunda-speaking people in Kalabo District in Western Province is celebrated annually and is characterized with songs of praise and various traditional dances. During this year's commemoration of the ceremony that was attended by scores of Kalabo residents and those from beyond, Chief Mwenemundu Kaunda Chelando IV, speaking through Kuta Secretary Inambao, acknowledges the UPND government's good policies in just 1 year after attaining office.
The achievements made by the new government in 1 year of being in office. The first one is the introduction of free education from grade 1 to grade 12. Increment of concerned development fund, that is CDF, recruitment of more than 41,000 health personnel and teachers. And the fourth point is the introduction of rule of law and many more.
And Kalabo District Commissioner Msango Nyamba reaffirmed government's commitment in ensuring that the rule of law is upheld among chiefdoms, adding that government will not entangle itself in any traditional succession disputes in the district. Speaking earlier, Lienya Traditional Ceremony Organizing Committee Chairperson Patrick Kamaya called on government to consider gazetting Chief Mwanamondo so as to enable him enjoy the benefits being accessed by other chiefs in the country.
Gazetted to government. Inalingi combine bibili kabyoshe ya Zambia byoshe bili buli futi. Choni shakama ko tutuli nacho. Ngubulu kuitwa kama nene bili.
Meanwhile, 75 years old Henry Chimwaso, who is also in Dona Vitala, explains Lienya ceremony and adds that it was a joyful ceremony meant to signal the start of a new farming season.
Mukitio tafaona chona lizazira kuitira mulena mwene mundu kuja mauza nekukalisa kuchala mauza ape masimu ya haye na makwelo naye.
In attendance was also Kalabo District Chairperson David Nyundu, Town Council Secretary Kamwata Mpongo, heads of government departments, NGOs, and parastatals, respectively. News, Kalabo District, Western Province.
We wrap up the news on a sporting note. Two Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority Tazara-owned football clubs based in Kapirimposhi and Mpika districts have received a football kit and equipment boost from a private railway logistics company that has assumed their sponsorship. Tazara Express and Tazara Rangers, both Division 2 sides, have received the kit comprising full attire of sets of jerseys, boots, tracksuits, sneakers, and footballs at a ceremony where outstanding players in the 2022 football season were also awarded. Here are the details.
To enhance team performance, a railway logistics company has procured football equipment worth over 120,000 kwacha for Tazara Express and Tazara Rangers, two Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority-owned football clubs based in Kapirimposhi and Mpika districts, respectively. Calabash Freight Limited has also committed to be providing 20,000 kwacha quarterly funding to Tazara Express football team for operational costs in fulfillment of the sponsorship package to the Division 2 outfit.
When Tazara approached us for a partnership in the sponsorship of some of the sports teams, we did not hesitate to take up the challenge because we saw it as an opportunity not only add value to Tazara, but also to integrate ourselves with the Tazara community.
Kapirimposhi District Commissioner Francis Salama has received the kit on behalf of the clubs with a call for them to up their game.
Kapirimposhi needs to have representation in the Premier League. And I believe that the gesture expeded through this sponsorship is sufficient to motivate us up to the ladder.
Tazara management is delighted with the gesture.
Kapirimposhi is home to the mighty Tazara Express Football Club. This team has a large following and is very, very popular here in Kapirimposhi. On the other hand, we also have two other football clubs, namely Tazara Rangers based in Mpika and Tazara Blue Stars based in Kasama. These football clubs came into being for the sole purpose of providing entertainment to the various communities.
During the kit handover ceremony, several players from the two clubs were awarded for exceptional performance in the 2022 football season. Carlos Wunda, Zanis, Kapirimposhi.
That item by Carlos brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Road construction companies to recover funds from toll fees. Kafiwe Sugar to start producing power using bagasse. Ikelengi farmers assured of speedy distribution of farm inputs. 2 football clubs receive football kits. Thank you for being with us. On behalf of the studio crew, this has been Mwangala Kapandola saying bye-bye.